Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the False Nine podcast. It's Stephen, Connor, and Charlie. Once again, we're just gonna do a review of match day one of Euro 2020 or Euro 2021, whatever you like to call it. So let's go from group by group, and yeah, just talk about it. See, like we've seen every team play now at least once, so I think it gives us a good kind of representation to see who we think are the favorites for the tournament and things like that. So firstly, Group A, the team I backed, Italy, was the opening game last Friday. They beat Turkey 3-0. To be fair, like I was backing Italy from the start, but I didn't think they'd be this impressive, especially because that Turkey team, obviously, they haven't performed in the tournament. But I think, that's a very impressive result. Like I thought from the start they were all over Turkey. They kept them penned in for the first half, and in the second half, eventually they got their goals. But I thought at the start, I thought the way they set up Italy is just so impressive. The balance on either side. Like, personally, on the right side, I prefer Chiesa. Like I think Berardi, I don't rate him that much, but I think I understand what he brings to in terms of balance. To Italy team. And one thing I was thinking, like how quick they win the ball back as well. And like to be fair, this is all without Verratti, who's a world class midfielder. So yeah, I was really impressed with them. The goal, who scored the goals again? It was an own goal. Immobile and Insigne, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I thought they were very impressive. Charlie, I know, obviously we couldn't catch every game, all of us, because we're not jobless. But what impressed you the most about Italy that game?
I thought they'd win, but I didn't think they'd win it that comfortably. Like most Italy teams are based on defense, but these have a really good attack as well. I did think Chiesa would have been their main man, but he seems to be on the bench, and Berardi seems to be preferred over him. But Immobile and Insigne have been quite impressive. People thought, the Serie A is a bit of a washed league, but they've come in and they're looking very good. To be fair, Insigne, I never realized he was that good. To be fair, like he kind of gives off like Alexis Sanchez vibes. If you get like he just the way he moves with the ball and all. Yeah. And then Immobile, he has missed a good few chances. Actually, I think yesterday he missed like 3 big chances, but he's still joint top scorer in the tournament. So
yeah,
everything's positive for Italy at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, they look really good. Obviously we won't talk about the game last night, but Keegan got injured, so that's gonna have ramifications going forward. But yeah, Connor, on Turkey, like everyone kind of came in calling them dark horses. I kind of fell into that trap, I think, in my prediction. Anyways, just they just seem like they froze on the big stage. Really poor against Italy, especially. They just didn't really create much at all, and I feel like they're just waiting to be beaten, or seeing if they can hold on for 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a tournament opener. Turkey they weren't expected to do anything, so I feel like they should have gone out with a bit more sort of determination to try and win the game instead of just sitting in. I mean, we saw like Italy dominated the game completely, and I don't think it's so much Turkey's fault. I think Italy they're a very good side. I think we saw at the start of the tournament, I know you predicted it as well. But we did have like quite a few people sort of saying, "Oh, this might be like Italy's year to finally get back to where they belong," kind of thing. And I just feel like watching Italy, they stick to their game plan and they know that it will work eventually. Like if you were I was watching bits of the Turkey game, and like they just didn't panic. They waited for their time. Like I know they did score 3 goals, so like it wasn't. There's always never going to be in doubt or anything like that. But like they stick to their game plan and they know it works, and they do have a very well balanced team with lots of quality in the team. But yeah, Turkey, I mean, in the build up to the sort of the last couple of years, they've had good results against top teams, and like you expected them to put up a bit more of a fight. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think it like for me, look, they probably have the advantage of home, being at home, but like I just think like the way they play, especially the way they press, is what kind of impresses me. I think they just look one of the sharper teams in the tournament, and they just obviously I felt like the fullbacks were going to be a weakness, but like I think Florenzi got injured. Di Lorenzo's a bit dodgy, but I think Spinazzola has been unbelievable. I think he's been the best left back in the tournament so far. Like I thought he's been very good. So I mean, I think it's all positive for Italy. Obviously they're through now. We'll talk about that game next week, but they're through now. And yeah, they're looking good to go far in the tournament. But yeah, on to the next game in that group. It was Wales, Switzerland. Ended up being 1-1. I think Switzerland scored first. It was in Bolo. And then Wales scored with Kiefer Moore, something is his name.
Yeah, I was watching that game actually.
Yeah, I couldn't catch that game, but I watched some of the kind of extended highlights and stuff like that. I felt like Wales were okay, but I felt like they were waiting for something to happen. They were waiting to score from a set piece or something, and then eventually Switzerland hit them. But once Switzerland scored, I felt like they came out and started creating chances, and then they eventually got the reward. Connor, then on like for Wales, I feel like that's a good result. Like if they want to now in hindsight in the second game, but at that point that's a good result. Sets them up nicely, like to go and try and qualify from the group. I thought, like I think so. I expected Switzerland to win. I said at the start that Wales get 0 points, and yeah, I was wrong. So they proved me wrong. But yeah, in terms of as a start, Connor, like it could be better, but it's not bad because in Switzerland they're a top side.
Yeah, I was actually watching the game there, and Wales, they're very lethargic at the start. Same with Switzerland, kind of neither of them wanted to kind of show too much. They kind of wanted to keep it compact and stay in the game. Whereas in previous tournaments, you see Wales, they're kind of almost like passion merchants the way they went out and they just went for it. And I think this approach was a bit different. Your man in Bolo for Switzerland, I was watching him. He was running rings around Wales. He looks very good. The end product isn't really there, but he seems to be very good at sort of just running at teams again past people. Wales, I suppose, as soon as Switzerland scored, they started going right. Like we need to get one back, and it sort of came into the game a bit more. But I mean, with that win, then I know we're going to talk about it next week. But like, I think they know that their last game against Italy, they're probably not going to win. So they would have targeted, especially the opening game or opening 2 games even.
I think they're true. I feel like they're true. Like,
Yeah.
I think it'll be very hard
You
for them.
think so?
Like if they get 4 points and come third, you'd imagine they're true. But yeah, Charlie, on Switzerland, just don't think about last night's result. That was disastrous. But on that game, like Switzerland should be winning those games. Switzerland are in these tournaments like consistently, and I expect them to come second in this group. Or like, no, sorry. I thought they come third, but I thought they'd do better. Like they're like that. I think the Wales result they would have been desperately like annoyed with. Especially considering they're definitely the better side.
Yeah, I think this happens a lot with Switzerland. They qualify easily, but when they get to the tournament, they don't really do anything. They're big players like Xhaka, Shaqiri. They've been woeful. Like I'm not sure how Shaqiri is still employed by your club, but that's for FSG and your lot to discuss. Xhaka doesn't look anywhere near up to speed. He got dominated in pretty much both games, really. So yeah, like Switzerland, they've been really disappointing so far, and it's like I wouldn't be surprised to see them go out. But even if they get through, like they're not gonna tear up any teams playing like that. Like they don't seem a threat at all. It just seems to be try and get the ball up to Mbolo, and he'll work a bit of magic, because Shaqiri and I think it's Seferovic, they're certainly not providing anything. And Shaw and Akanji at the back have been pretty suspect. Not like you would have thought they had a solid base with them too, but they've been quite poor for the first 2 games.
Yeah, definitely. Just on that group then, it's hard not to take this like last night's results into account, but I'm guessing obviously Italy will top it, and then the rest. I feel like last game, I feel it's all to pay for between Switzerland and Turkey going to the last game there, but yeah, that'll be an interesting one for sure. Group B, Denmark v Finland. Obviously, what happened in that game was one of the craziest things to happen in football. Like, I remember I was in the gym and I checked my phone. All of a sudden, the whole Twitter was going like, didn't know what happened to Ericsson. Thankfully, he's in hospital. He's awake. Well, hopefully, he continues to recover. But yeah, that game, I felt like it didn't really matter in the end. Like, I feel like the fact that they even came out after the incident to like continue playing was very commendable. Obviously Finland got the win in the end, but yeah, like Connor, I don't know if you were able to catch it or not, but that is one of the most. I think it's very hard to like judge that game because that game was ruined after the 14th. Not ruined, that's a terrible, but like it was obviously it didn't matter after the 14th minute. Yeah, what were your thoughts on that whole thing? Like were you watching the game when that happened, or did you find out on your phone or whatever?
I was I was in work at the time, and we are kind of doing this sort of thing in work where you have three teams, and Finland was one of my teams, and one of the other lads at Denmark. So he had it on his phone, and obviously we were in work, so we were kind of watching bits of it, and we went over to check the phone, and everyone in the stadium was crying, and we didn't know what had happened, like, and I had never seen that before. And then obviously then whoever is in charge of the cameras and the TV coverage, like zooming in on like what's going on when they literally refuse to film like loads of other stuff, like when people run onto the pitch and stuff, like it's just a disgrace. And obviously like we found out quick enough what happened, and I mean, like, I know Ericsson, I think he was in hospital, he FaceTimed the team and told them that he wanted them to go and play the game. I don't think any of them did want to go and play the game, but obviously that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to go and do it.
Like, but I remember Peter Schmeichel said that like the UEFA threatened them with a 3-0 loss, which is just UEFA are just a disgrace, to be honest with you. Like, obviously they're painted as the good guys in the whole European Super League thing. But fucking hell, like that is disgraceful. I feel like that game should be called off and just given a nail all or something like that. But fair play to Finland, they got the goal anyway. Like that wasn't easy for Finland players either. Like, do you know what I mean? So
it affected everyone. But I think the main thing out of that, like Ericsson, like obviously he just did his medical recently enough for Inter. So like he's gonna want answers. Like everyone's gonna want answers as to like what actually happened there. Because I mean, like if it wasn't for the reaction of, in fairness to Anthony Taylor, I think it was 5 seconds after he collapsed, he called the medics on, and the Denmark captain Simon Kjaer or whatever it is. I can't pronounce his name properly, but he seemed to be like the hero of the day there, to be honest. But yeah, like it just shows like there are things that are like more important than football. Like the health of a player is obviously way more important than football itself.
Yeah, like it comes back to the point of like, Charlie, this actually, like the players are playing far too much football, and now they're expecting actually to play a World Cup in the middle of a domestic season. It's just ludicrous they think they can just use these players as pawns and they can just push them to the limit. It's ridiculous. Like managers were saying this as well. Like the big managers were saying this at this season. And that's why they were calling for 5 subs. I remember Ollie. I don't want to say you Klopp and Ollie were proven right or anything, but I'm just like they were right all along. Like these incidents may happen again because players cannot deal with this amount of football. And like to be fair to Ericsson, like the worrying thing for me, Ericsson didn't play that much. Like he didn't play every game for Inter. Like he would be on the bench at times. So loads of players have played 60 games. Then they're going to Euros. I don't know, 60 games in a condensed season. Then they're going to the Euros, and then they're meant to play a full season again. Then they'll have a summer, and then they'll have to play a World Cup, and it's just like ridiculous. So Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Charlie, for kind of obviously Connor touched on it, like they want answers and stuff like that. He had a medical about a year ago, maybe. Like, what do you think? Do you think, in your opinion, like that there should be more medical checks on players, even not just from switching from club to club, but just in general? Like, I'm not sure if they do them or not. They might do, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of kind of heart conditions that don't get found out until something happens in sport.
Yeah, I think it was a freak incident, to be fair. Like, usually you don't see these things coming, like they're kind of out of the blue.
Yeah.
But I think you were touching on it there. The amount of tournaments of football the players are playing is ridiculous, and it's all just based around money. Like, why you can't really ask the players to go and play in Qatar? What, it's next year, isn't it? Next summer.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. They pretty much getting no breaks at all, and like they're very different conditioned as to what the players are actually used to. Like, it's ridiculous temperatures. Like, I remember my football team was going on a tour once, and we had to play in Madrid, and just the temperature was just way too much for us. Like, we had to be getting subbed every 20 minutes or so, just because we put, like, obviously the players are much fitter than us, but like the different weather conditions really do play a part. So like it's going to be difficult, and I think people like UEFA, they need to take player welfare more into account, because like that should be at the top of their priorities list. And at the moment, it doesn't seem that way. It seems get as many sponsorships and money deals as possible. Like, it's Qatar. That's where it's like, it's, are they even really a footballing nation? Like, they're not. Like, and their team is absolutely rubbish. It's just they probably offered the most amount of money, and that's why they've been given the venue. But like, no one takes into account that the players can't sustain a high level of performance in such temperatures. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, so just a point there on what Charlie's saying. Like, they don't even have, like, they're literally building, or since they got the World Cup, they started building stadiums and stuff like that. And like the way they treat the workers, like, they're literally workers dying there from the conditions. Like, it's actually shocking in terms of human rights and stuff like that.
I know. Not like, obviously that's a whole other discussion now, but like it is ridiculous. Like the Qatar World Cup, it doesn't, the whole thing actually doesn't even make sense. And they expect the players, like, I remember fuck Madrid, Charlie. We were playing in like Greystones down the road last Sunday. It was 26 degrees. Man, I couldn't breathe in that fucking heat, and it was like 26. And now I think, in fairness, the Qatar World Cup is in the winter, but like I think it's still very warm in the winter in Qatar, considering its location on the globe. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
It's the humidity as well there.
Yeah,
like people aren't used to it at all.
I know. But yeah, I think the guy, that's a discussion for another day, I guess. But next in that group was Belgium Russia. Straight after it, Belgium won 3-0. They were very, I think Lukaku scored, didn't he? And who were the other goal scorers? I can't remember all these goal scorers. Lukaku.
Nunez got one and Lukaku got two.
Lukaku got two. Yeah, that was it. Again, 3-0. I think I didn't really expect anything less from Belgium. Russia are great. Like, I think that's a standard Belgium result in the group stage. It kind of like when they beat us 3-0 last Euros. But yeah, Connor, on Belgium then. I mean, I don't think this game really says much about Belgium, because they're number one ranked in the world for a reason. But I think Lukaku getting golden boot wasn't a bad shout in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like 2 goals. He started well. And then if you think about it as well, like, he still is, like, Finland play. Like, I know Finland beat Denmark, but like I don't think Finland are a great team. I could see him scoring against them, and then Denmark as well. I just think Belgium are kind of, you look at that group and you're kind of, I did expect Denmark now to perform like a bit better. Like, obviously under what happened, they didn't.
Yeah.
But and that group's kind of like wide open now. Like, it could go anywhere. I fully expect Belgium obviously to get 9 points from it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the other 3 teams, I think they could finish in any order really.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think there's anything to say on Russia, Charlie. Is there like it's just proof that they were on PEDs at the World Cup. That's about it. I saw a video actually recently. I didn't even clock out the World Cup. Golovin in like the 123rd minute sprinted 100 yards to stop a fresh Rodrigo who came on like it was nothing. I was like, I looked at it, I was like, how did I not clock that? Anyways, Russia did get a win yesterday. We'll talk about that next week, as we said before. But yeah, Russia, they're expected to lose this. They'll be targeting the Denmark game for sure. Yeah, so I think we can just move on to Group C then. Austria, North Macedonia. North Macedonia went 1-0 up. Oh, I get mixed with the Netherlands-Ukraine game. Anyway, they lost 3-1. And I remember, by the way, can I say something, right? On Twitter, yeah, people said, what a game this was. It was awful. That game was so hard to watch. I watched a lot of it until the last 2 goals where Austria pulled away. But yeah, Pandev obviously scored, which he's like their only threat, really. Austria expect to win this. I expect them to come second in that group, for sure. So I don't think there's much surprise. Arnautovic scored, but there's controversy over his celebration or something. So I have no idea what was going on. But yeah, I think Austria eventually pulled away in the end. But like, to be fair, it was 1-0 for a long time. So it wasn't until like the 83rd minute, I think, Austria got their second goal. So yeah, do you think first game ever in a tournament, do you think that's a good show for North Macedonia?
Yeah, I think they were decent enough. Like, I don't think anyone expected them to take any points really, no matter who they drew. But they were quite competitive. I think, like, when your main man is Alioski, you do have a bit of a problem.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think Austria, they were kind of lucky in the end. Like, as you said, they left it late, and obviously they got their 2 goals. But it's funny, they just take Alaba and stick him anywhere, like wherever he wants to play. He seems that, like, people thought he would play midfield. He seemed to be in a back 3, I think, or one of the centre backs.
Then he's playing left back for the goal.
Yeah, and then some of the friendlies I was watching with Austria, he was popping up on the right wing. Like, it seems to be like, okay, he's our best player. We're going to try and get him forward as much as possible, and like wherever he's needed, we'll slot him in. So I think they do have a lack of quality, Austria. Arnautovic is banned for a game now. Whatever, I didn't see what he did, but apparently he insulted an opposition player or something, is what they're saying.
Like,
so
it was like Albanian or Serbian slurs or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's Arnautovic is like Serbian originally, or ethnically, sorry. And then he was like saying stuff to Alioski because there's tension between the 2 countries. They don't like recognize North Macedonia. And then he had to be stopped by Alaba, which and Arnautovic is kind of known. Remember when he moved, the Stoke West Ham move, and then he was like making fun right in front of the Stoke fans after he scored for West Ham. So he just seems to like to stir with people. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's a bit of a weirdo. Can't lie. Yeah, but he did score. He is a bit of a weirdo though, isn't he? He just seems a bit of a weirdo. Like, where's he even playing at the moment? I don't even know. But and he even left West Ham in a weird way as well. But yeah, a handy 3-1 win for Austria. Expected. I think they're playing. Who are they playing next? Is it the Dutch? Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, it's Austria. It's the Netherlands who beat Ukraine 3-2 in a very good game. This game was good. Netherlands were very good from the start. I thought
Captain Genie scored as well.
He was very good. Eventually he scored. Then they went 2-0 up, and then out of nothing, Ukraine, Yarmolenko, that goal, Jesus, he literally just cut in. It was no need, and he's completely whipped to top bins. Like one of the goals of the tournament. It was goal of the tournament until the next day. But yeah, and then Yaremchuk, he got a header, and all of a sudden Netherlands were pegged back, and I think that was at that point I was like, yeah, this Netherlands team, they're just not it. Like, I think a lot of pressure going into this tournament, especially under the manager. They did start well, but once they bottled the lead, I was like, oh my god. But in the end, Dumfries, great header. Oh, fair enough. They won the game. I think they did deserve it, Connor, in the end. But like, they made it hard on themselves, and like, I think it doesn't bode well going into like a better team, going against a better team like Austria, or even into the knockout stages.
No, it isn't great. I think Ukraine, though, I think you have to give them credit because they have been, as we said this in the last podcast, they have been playing well against big teams. And I mean, to go 2-0 down and to come back into it, like, it doesn't matter if the team throws a game or not. Like, Yarmolenko's goal, like, that was a quality goal from him. Like, you can't really do much about that. But like the Netherlands, like, you're 2-0 up, like, you need to be holding on to that lead instead of, and like, I mean, I'm not gonna say they got lucky to it, like, they did deserve to win, but like, they could have easily drawn that game. And I mean, 2-0 up against Ukraine, like, you should be closing those games out and winning. So I just feel like Netherlands will go through, but I'm not sure. Do you know who they get actually if they finish first in Group C?
Netherlands. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't remember. Hang on. I'll check now. I have it here. Tournament predictor. I said it said like, so if Netherlands were at the top of the group, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They would get third place in Group F, Germany potentially.
Third. Yeah. So I feel like if they're to come up against, I mean, it's going to be either Portugal, France, or Germany. Obviously, like, France will probably win that group now, or Portugal.
Yeah.
But like Netherlands, Germany, like, I think they'll struggle against Germany if they put up the performance they did against Ukraine.
Yeah. I feel like they've got a bit unlucky with that one, and with that the way that's gone. But that's the name of the tournament. You're gonna have to play the best teams. Like, I'd like to see them against Austria until I gave a full verdict. Like, at the end of the day, they got the win. That's all that matters, and that's what you need in these tournaments. There's no need to make, there's no need to make the group exciting or anything. Like, just get the wins and then you move on from there. But yeah, Charlie, just quickly on Ukraine, people kind of tipped Ukraine to do well. Like, obviously that's not a bad show, but like, do you think they could maybe beat Austria, or like, do you think they could maybe come second in this group? I don't know if this game has changed your opinion on them at all, but I thought they did look good and they did look dangerous at times.
Yeah, they were a bit up and down. Like, some of the time they looked really vulnerable at the back, and then other times they started creating a few chances. Yarmolenko, he doesn't play much for West Ham, but he looks really good for Ukraine. He seems to be kind of their main man, along with Malianovsky. People were saying he should have done better. I think that Dutch midfield, it's pretty stacked, to be fair.
Yeah, it's very good.
Like, Wijnaldum seems a different player for the Netherlands, and De Jong is just unreal. Like, he just controls the game. So yeah, I said Ukraine would be like the dark horses. I fancy them to. I think they're playing Macedonia today, are they?
Yeah.
So I think they'll win that one quite comfortably. One player I was disappointed in was Zinchenko. Like, he's meant to be the kind of the star who plays for Man City. He's meant to be a cut above the rest. He was quite poor in my opinion. Like, he wasn't playing left back. He was playing, I think he was one of the midfield three, and he didn't really have any effect on the game. Like, he didn't create any chances, didn't have any shots, and some of his passing was really loose. So I think if they're going to have to get the best out of him if they want to qualify, and I think they should be straightforwardly beating North Macedonia, but you never know.
Yeah, I think that group for a second is definitely wide open. It depends really actually what happens in the Netherlands Austria game. I can't lie, but yeah, it's an exciting group. Especially, I'm interested to see what the last, like, what will be up for grabs last game when Austria and the Ukraine are playing each other. So that's definitely should be interesting. Moving on to Group D, Scotland lost 2-0 to the Czech Republic. Who played first? Actually, England. It doesn't matter anyway, but Czech Republic beating Scotland 2-0. I think Scotland started well that game. I thought they were good. Obviously had the fans in the back in Hampden Park. Played well. Robertson missed a chance and they had close. But then I feel like that header they scored, it was Schick in the end. I thought that just knocked the wind out of their sails, and I feel like it was really tough for them to get going again. And then the second goal, I mean, like ridiculous. Like one thing I don't understand, how has he managed that? Like the ball was coming from like this direction, and he's managed to whip it over the keeper. Ridiculous goal. And after that, they struggled to get back into it. Scotland still missed chances. I remember Lyndon Dykes had a chance; he should have scored. But yeah, that's a hard one to take for Scotland. I think that was a game they were probably targeting if they wanted to get out of the group. But again, they have England on Friday. Anything can happen in that game. But yeah, Charlie, do you think this game could really has really put a dent in Scotland's hope of getting out of the group? Because England or Croatia, you'd fancy them to lose those games as well.
Yeah, I didn't catch this game. I was in work, but like that's a bad result. Like Czech Republic aren't up to much, if we're being honest. Like I can't even name like 3 of their players, to be honest. Like I would have expected better from Scotland, and now obviously they have a really tough fixture against England, and if they don't get something out of that, you would say they're going out. So like it's a poor start, but I think they might fancy themselves against England, considering like the stage they're on. They want to prove people wrong, so I don't see why they can't do it. Like they do have a decent little team, Scotland, to be fair. People, especially the English, they kind of take the piss out of them at times, but they have a decent team, and I think it would be really funny if they were to get something out of England, considering the way the English are. Oh, it's coming home now after they scraped a 1-0 win against Croatia.
Yeah, I mean, look, like that game on Friday is going to be so good. I think it's on Friday, is it? What time did that? I think it's at Friday. Oh, it's at 8. Right, I'm back from work. Lovely. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a very good game. But yeah, speaking of Italy, speaking of England, 1-0 over Croatia. I think the more thing I want to focus on is the team selection. I'll go to you, Connor, on this. No Grealish, Sancho wasn't even in the squad. Obviously, he worked out in the end, but were you surprised by his team selection? The fact that he didn't put Grealish in, or was that what you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Grealish should have started, but one of the things I found bizarre was playing Trippier at left back.
That's
when
worrying.
Shaw has literally been outstanding this season. Like he's literally had his.
Chilwell won Champions League.
Yeah, but like either one of them, like they're literally they're left backs for a reason. I don't know why he's trying to play a right back on the other side of the pitch. I mean, the Calvin Phillips and Sterling selection thing, obviously they did combine for the goal in the end, but I just think Southgate is he's no idea what his best team is, and like he's not gonna do well. Like the better teams in the tournament, like they're getting the runner-up of Group F, I think, if they top the group, which will probably be Portugal. And I mean, if they play like they did against Portugal, like I don't see them winning that game, to be honest with you. I know at the start I did say I think England would win it just for the crack, because I feel like they have a good squad, but the way that they're like, I mean, Sancho, like how can you not have Sancho in the matchday squad? And Jack Grealish should have started. Like Sterling is literally just in there, like for obviously he scored, like so it paid off in the end, but like I can't see how you cannot have Grealish in the team. Like he is literally a different, like he's so good.
Yeah, I think the Trippier left back thing's just the weird thing. Like it's so weird. I think I didn't understand it. I don't understand why he did it. Look, they got the win in the end, Charlie. Good goal in the end from Sterling. Calvin Phillips, who won man of the match, it's the heart of it. That's a very good performance, Calvin Phillips. Like I was can't lie. Obviously, Henderson's fitness has probably contributed to him playing. But I think I wasn't expecting him to be that much of a kind of. I didn't think him to be that much involved in this tournament. Considering Rice would be considered ahead of him as well, but that's a very good performance. And I think like it's very hard to take him out now, even if Henderson's back fit.
Yeah, he certainly outperformed Rice. I'd say obviously he got an assist. It was a very good assist as well, to be fair. Rice, I mean, how he's an 80 million player, I'll never know. He just gets the ball, passes it backwards, passes it sideways, and then just kind of shifts across into defensive positions when they don't have the ball. He's just average in my opinion. Like, people are talking about United should buy him. He's probably not even better than McTominay. Like, if we're being honest, McTominay, if McTominay played for West Ham, you'd probably be seeing similar performances to Rice. Like, let's be honest. And
he's not 80 million, but I think he's better than McTominay. McTominay's shy. Like.
Yeah, like maybe that was an exaggeration, to be fair,
Yeah.
but you get what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to stop by him. Chilwell wasn't even in the squad. Like, some of the things Southgate, like, if that had been Neil, Southgate would be the media villain at the moment. Obviously, it worked out playing Sterling. I don't think Foden came straight in. I don't think, like, he's been good, yeah, but I don't think he's better than Sancho or Grealish at this moment in time. Obviously, I think he will be in the future, but at the moment, I would have still picked Sancho or Grealish ahead of him. So, yeah, like, he could have easily got it wrong. I think he got slightly lucky, Southgate, but I suppose it's a positive for us because we don't want England to win. So having a clown as their manager is a positive.
For sure. I don't think Croatia offered much, in my opinion. I thought they just don't look like the same side anymore. I thought they were poor. I think they had a couple of chances, but a lot of the players are kind of washed. So, yeah, I still fancy them to be out of the group, of course. I fancy them to beat the Czech Republic and bounce back, but they're very uninspiring. I think England got their win. It's important to get an opening win, and they go into the Scotland game heavy favourites, in my opinion. Moving on to Group E, Poland losing Slovakia. I think that was a bit of a shock. I thought Poland would win. Thought they were poor. Obviously, the other man sent off. Skriniar got the winner. I just think, for me, the main talking point is Poland, because I don't even think they beat Sweden, to be honest with you. I think Sweden are a good side. We'll talk about them in a minute. But Connor, for Poland now, they're in real big trouble after losing to Slovakia.
Yeah, I feel like that, like, opening, like, I felt like Slovakia would finish bottom of that group. And if you're Poland, like, you go into that opening game kind of gone, that's it. Like, if we get 3 points, that's a good platform to build on.
Yeah.
But I think they've kind of bottled their chance now, to be honest. As you said, Sweden, I feel like Norway, or sorry, not Norway, sorry, Finland, Denmark, and Sweden. I feel like all three of them are they've kind of performed well over the last few years, and they're always difficult to break down. I mean, Poland, I can't see them beating Spain or Sweden, to be honest with you. Like, they might make a draw off them.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's probably their chances of qualifying probably gone now. I didn't actually get to watch the game, but I did, from what I read, I think Poland were quite poor in that game. They didn't really offer much, and they kind of got exposed defensively quite a bit as well.
I think they're just kind of relying on Lewandowski to get the goals, and if you're not creating for Lewandowski, he's not going to do much, and he's not going to create goals for himself. But yeah, just quickly for Charlie, I feel like Lewandowski got a lot of stick on Twitter during the game. I just think it's probably a bit unfair on him, don't you think? Like, the team around him isn't star-studded, but I think it's just so focused on him getting the goals.
Yeah, I think some of these idiots think like one world-class player can carry an entire team, and it's just not the case. Like, who's the second best player in that squad? Probably Zielinski or something like that.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Like, what's he supposed to do? No one's giving him the ball in any dangerous areas. The crossing is really poor into the box nearly every single time it goes out wide. He did have a decent chance from a corner where he glanced it on. He probably should have scored, but like, that's it really. And you're looking at him as probably the best striker in the world, and the service he's getting is just awful really. And like, you can blame him all you want, but realistically, he has elite movement, he has elite finishing skills. All you have to do is give him the ball in dangerous area, and clearly Poland weren't able to do that. And I think, yeah, Connor's right there. They're probably going out now, to be honest. Like, they're not going to beat Spain or Sweden playing like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's too much pressure on Lewandowski, and in my opinion, obviously he's a ridiculously good striker, bag full of goals, but they need to create chances for him, and they didn't against Slovakia. Now they're up against it. Moving on to the next game, Spain, Sweden. I thought Spain looked good. They're just lacking that end product. Morata. Oh my God, this guy stinks so much. He's so bad. He's honestly one of the worst strikers I've seen play for Spain. He's awful. I thought Pedri looks a fucking player. Seriously, the way he shifts the ball, the way he was able to pick locks in that Swedish deep block was very good. Again, they had chances. I watched this game actually back, and they had chances. They just couldn't put them away. I remember Moreno, the Villarreal player. He missed an easy header. I think Morata missed a couple easy chances as well. So yeah, they'll be disappointed Spain not coming out there with a win. I think it was a good performance though. I think Sweden went close once with Isaac, who looked good, looked powerful, looks like he can create problems. But apart from that, I thought Spain were in control. Charlie, on Spain, it's hard to see them. I think they can go far in the tournament. I think they might meet England at some point. If I'm not mistaken. No, sorry, no, they can't meet England. It's they can't meet England. It's what's their game? It's Spain. Scotland is who they could meet, Scotland or Czech Republic, depends who comes third in that group. So I see them getting to a quarter final. I don't know about after that. Do you think that's the case with them? The lack of a striker, lack of a goal scorer is just going to kill them.
Yeah, I think they go pretty far. I don't think they'll win it, but like they were all right. Like,
yeah.
And that's it really. Like they created a few chances, but like obviously a top quality striker would have bagged them. But we know what Morata's like. Like their attack, it's not Spain quality, if you get me. Like Ferran Torres, Morata, and who was even on the left, I can't even remember. Yeah, Olmo. Like, come on, that's not the Spain we know. Like that.
Yeah, the wide men are good young players, to be fair.
Yeah, Olmo was quite impressive, to be fair, but like you would still expect him to have like a better striker than that. I think Moreno should certainly play the next game, even though he missed an easy chance, because like you can't persist with Morata. Like he gets in front of the goal, he just slashes at things. Like I don't even think he knows where it's going to end up most of the time. It's just he's just so erratic. One game he could show up and he could be very good and finish all his chances, and then the next game he just seems to bottle it and just he won't score at all costs, even though he gets really easy chances. I thought to be fair to Sweden, Lindelof and Danielson were really good. I think Danielson was man of the match, but they gave it to Lindelof. Lindelof, if he could show some of that form for United, that would be, pretty good. We probably wouldn't concede as many goals. And you said Isaac was good. I don't know why they took him off in the 70th minute though. Like that pretty much neutralized Sweden for the last 20 minutes, and like they kind of played themselves out of the game by taking him off. But yeah, obviously it's a decent point for Sweden, and they'll probably go through now if they beat one of the other teams.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a good point. Taking Isaac off was weird. But yeah, I think who was it that played for Spain? The weird thing, I have the two left-footed centre backs. So it's so weird. It's so weird to watch. Like the poor play on the right side. Obviously, you can have two right-footed centre backs, but two left-footed centre backs is weird. Yeah, I just think that it just, and then obviously having Llorente right back, who's a midfielder, doesn't make much sense either. But look, they're going. I think tactically they're very good to watch. I think the way they move the ball, crisp passes. They seem to be relying on Pedri a lot to create, which he can do. 18 years of age, scary talent really. But yeah, I still expect Spain to go through. They seem like they're going to heat up. They don't actually. There's an interesting stat. I think they've won one of their last 6 opening games in a major tournament. They don't really start well, but I expect them to kick on in the last 2 games. And we'll have to wait and see if their strikers show up. On to Group F, the group of death. Hungary lost 3-0 to Portugal. It did take Portugal a long time to get the goals, to be fair. I thought Hungary held on well. But Portugal eventually pulled away. Ronaldo got 2. Guerrero got the first goal. Connor on Portugal. I mean, it was expected from them. They did make it look hard in the end, but at the end of the day, they got the 3 points.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, they got the job done. But I feel like Portugal they often do leave it late in games to actually score. They kind of back themselves to the full 90 minutes and obviously the extra time at the end as well. I feel a bit sorry for Hungary. Obviously you score on I think it's the 82nd, 83rd minute. And then I think it's ruled out for offside. So I feel like Hungary were well in that game, and if they had beaten Portugal, I'm not saying they would have qualified, but it would have been a very, very good start for them. And they could, who knows, they could have gotten a point off Germany or something like that, and they could have qualified. So I mean, they will probably feel hard done by, but I feel overall Portugal, I mean, that's going to be good for their goal difference now. It's going to be everyone looks at that game and goes, "Oh, Portugal won that easily." If you look at the scoreline, but if you actually watch the game, you realize that it was it's only in the last 7 or 8 minutes that Portugal got their goals. But I suppose you do have to play to the final whistle, and I mean Portugal did that. They got the job done, and they're probably now with Germany losing to France as well. I feel like Portugal will probably finish second in the group, but who knows? They could top it. You never know what's going to happen in the tournament.
Yeah, that group's weird. They're playing,
and obviously Ronaldo as well. I mean, I know people will probably call him Penaldo after the penalty and stuff like that, but he scored 2 goals in that as well. He could be another contender for Golden Boot as well.
He is inevitable, to be fair. That's why I think they'll get to a final. But I think, I think it's a win's a win. I feel like they need to be better against Germany, who they're playing next, I think. So that'll be definitely an interesting game. I feel like if Germany can beat them, then second place up for grabs for sure. Charlie, I don't think there's a point commenting on Hungary. You just feel bad for them at this point. How they've managed to get put in this group, I don't know. But you never know. They could shock the world against Germany or France. And speaking of Germany and France, they played out France won 1-0 at the Allianz. It was a Hummel's own goal in the end to separate the side. That Pogba pass is very nice in the lead up. Such a nice ball out to Hernandez, I think. A very good ball. And then Hernandez played it across and came on Hummels, and that was that. After that, France just seemed to sit back and just wanted to soak up the pressure and see if they could hit on the break, and they did, but they obviously were caught offside a couple of times. I felt like that goal Mbappe scored would have been an iconic goal if it wasn't rolled out offside. The skill moves and then putting it in the corner was just brilliant. But Charlie on France. Obviously, they need to look against Portugal. If they get the same kind of result, it doesn't matter. But are you expecting them to heat up a little bit as the tournament goes on?
They never really score, they never really blow teams away. I was watching their World Cup qualifiers. I think it was Kazakhstan. They only beat them. I think it was 1-0. The game before that, I think it was either Ukraine or Sweden, I think, and I don't even think they won that game. I think it was 0-0 or something. Yeah. So even though they have all this attacking talent, they don't really score that many goals for some reason. I think they'll probably still beat Portugal, and obviously on paper they've beaten Portugal and Germany then, and they look favourites for the tournament, probably along with Italy, considering their reactionary takes over there. Everyone seems to be back in Italy now, even though they were calling them shit how many weeks ago. But anyway, on that Pogba pass as well, by the way, people were saying Hernandez wasn't even in shot and Pogba picked him out. That is it's embarrassing. Have you ever played football in your life?
I don't want to name names.
He has eyes. He has eyes. He's literally staring right at him. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't even defend that. I like Pogba, but Jesus Christ, it's it's a switch pass. Like he's looking at him, but it was brilliantly executed, obviously. But like some of the ridiculous comments on that, not even being in the camera angle, was just ridiculous, and it's why no one can take United fans seriously at times.
Yeah, that tweet I saw. People are dumb. That's really it. People are very stupid. People lack brain cells. Yeah, it's just dumb as fuck. To be fair, fair play to a man of the match. He was very good. But yeah, Connor, do you think the fact that they don't blow away teams, like, and they're not convincing, it could hurt them at some point in the tournament?
Yeah, like it could do, but I feel like France and Portugal are kind of quite similar in some ways, the way they go about breaking teams down. Like I know Portugal did beat Hungary 3-0 there, but like often Portugal only win by a goal or so. And I think that's because like they do have confidence in the team. Like France are hardly gonna like go out and like try like everything against Germany. Like they want to win the game. That's the most important thing to them. Like they'd rather win the game than like to try and like show off and get hit on the counter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like if there is only a 1 goal margin, obviously the game is still in the balance. Like a team could literally hit them on the counter and score. But no, I feel like France are like they are a well balanced team, and I do see them going very far. I didn't really think Italy were going to be one of the favourites before the tournament. Like I'll hold my hand up and admit that, but looking at them now, it looks like Italy and France probably are the two favourites now, as Charlie said.
Yeah, I think but the way it plays out, I think Italy and France could meet each other in the semis, but we'll talk about that later on. The tournament goes on. Just for Germany, quickly to touch on them. I don't think it's disastrous to lose that game. I don't think they're bad. I think they just need to, against Portugal, I think they need to get something. I think that they should qualify if they were lose to Portugal and then beat Hungary, but goal difference will play a factor in that, so you never know. But yeah, I'd imagine they will qualify regardless if they beat Hungary. But I think they could. I think they can beat Portugal for sure. If they do that, that blows to group wide open. Charlie, for Germany, I think I have them down to get into a semi-final. But what do you think they're lacking in terms of? I feel like I know what you're going to about to say. I'll let you say, but if they want to go, if they want to win the tournament, that's the expectation for Germans. What do you think they're lacking that the other teams have?
I think they always had like a guy who's going to bag them goals, like Klose. I think he holds the record. Is it World Cups or is it Euro?
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that from Werner. Like he's a different type of striker. He's going to run the channels, so he's going to make goals. He's probably going to stand offside for most of the games. To be honest, I don't even think he started. I didn't catch the game, but I don't think Werner started, did he? I could be wrong. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, he didn't. Gnabry was leading the line with Havertz and Muller as the two inside forwards, and Kimmich, I'm just saying here, he was right wing back. That seems like a strange way to utilize one of the best centre mids in the world, but
yeah.
Anyway, like, I mean, a lot of teams seem to have this problem. Like they just don't have that goal scorer really. Like, why would you play Gnabry as striker? I'm not really sure, to be honest. Maybe it was Muller down the middle and Gnabry on the left, but obviously I didn't see the game, so I can't really say what they were lacking or what they need. But like the back three, it doesn't look really convincing with Ginter and Hummels. Like obviously Hummels scored the own goal. He has a great pass on him, but like I saw Mbappe's, like Benzema played a flick through ball to Mbappe, and Mbappe just destroyed Hummels for pace. He got back with a slide tackle, but he had about 5 yards head start Hummels, and Mbappe still got there. Obviously Mbappe's really fast, but like that is worrying considering how high Germany would like to play, considering we consider them a big nation, so they want to be playing a high line and taking the game to the other teams. I don't think they can do that with the likes of Ginter and Hummels, because they don't have the pace. And I definitely take Kimmich out of right wing back. I'm not sure what that's about. Like that's really strange. Obviously he plays right back for Bayern at times, but like I think he's renowned as possibly the best centre mid in the world, and like obviously they do have Gundogan and Kroos, but Kroos kind of got given the runaround by Pogba. He has a severe lack of mobility, in my opinion. Like he can't control games, obviously, but his defensively he can be suspect. Like he doesn't really pick up the right positions at times. So yeah, I think they might need to just go to a back four, to be honest, and see what they can do from there.
Yeah, I think Kroos. I've said it for Kroos for ages. He's not it. He honestly isn't as good as people say he is. On the ball, he's good, but watching him like you know what it's like watching. It's watching a dog who has 3 legs trying to beat like a leopard for pace. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's almost because he thinks he can do it. He thinks he can get to Pogba. He just can't. He's an OAP man. He hasn't been able to run since he was like 27. It's really poor to watch. And that's why, like, that's the part of the Pogba performance I didn't really take notice of. I was more what he did on the ball and what he did himself. Just like, oh, he destroyed Kroos. I'm pretty sure I could run past him, and I'm a slug. The guy is he looks like he's running through quicksand backwards and he's trying to run. It's embarrassing. So yeah, I think Germany do have a couple of problems. I think Sane's just not at it at all. I think ever since he's left City, he hasn't been on it. So I think they do need to kind of find some sort of method, maybe bring Kimmich back into midfield. But they've got the players there to go far. I think the route they could take might help them as well, if they come third. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. Still loads of games to play. They can prove us wrong. But yeah, I think we're going for a long time. Just before we've got through all the games for match day 1. Just to wrap it up with you lads. Obviously, Italy are the standout ones from that match day. And who else? Italy and mainly Italy. I don't think it's much to judge on, since only one game. But like, Charlie, has it changed any of your predictions or any of your kind of what you thought going into the tournament? Has anything surprised you so far?
I didn't expect Italy to be that good, to be honest. Like, on paper, they had a good squad. Like, obviously, we were all saying they didn't have that, like, the world-class player that could win them the tournament. But I think I changed my, like, they just look so together as a team. Losing Chiellini yesterday, it's obviously a big blow, but they do have cover. Serbi's not bad. They have Bastoni as well. I don't know who came on yet. Taloy or something. He's not bad either, to be fair. They did lack a bit of depth in midfield, but when Verratti is back, that should be fine. I think they subbed on Cristante and Pessina yesterday, so they could be in trouble if another one of their midfielder gets injured. But obviously, if Verratti comes back, then they're fine in that area. I would put Chiesa in for Berardi, though. I think he's very wasteful at times. He glides inside really nicely, and you think, right, deliver, finish, and then he kind of just skies it over the bar, or it gets blocked, or plays a poor pass. So I think they should definitely think about putting Chiesa in, but obviously it does provide a good balance. Berardi comes inside, Di Lorenzo goes on the overlap.
And then Barella likes to float out there as well.
Yeah. Turkey as well. They've been really disappointing. Who's that lad from TikTok? Everyone's taking the piss out of him now.
Tom Garrett.
Yeah.
Those predictions, by the way, it was so embarrassing. Come on, you're 35. You were 35 and you're doing predictions like that. Come on, why are you trying to be edgy? Like, this is what I don't understand. Why? What's the point of being edgy? Like, what? I don't understand it. Like, what you get out of it? Like, no one wants to be friends with you. Like, seriously. Like, if you're trying to be that edgy, like, seriously, man, have a look at yourself in the mirror if you're trying to be that edgy. Like, no, like, I hate, but people are like that usually, though. I don't want to go on a rant, but they're like that. They just want to be different. Why, man? Like, obviously, what I mean by they want to be different, they just want to go against the norms for no reason whatsoever. Like, it's different for other things, of course, but for stuff like for football, especially with takes, it's just like embarrassing. Anyway, I'm the same as Charlie with mine. Italy pressed me more than I thought they would, even though I thought they'd win. And Turkey have really been poor. Connor, what about yourself? Who have you been surprised by? Who you've been underwhelmed by, and so on?
You know, like obviously I'm the same as you guys about Italy. Like I've been very impressed by them, but I think one of the teams was we said before Spain and the Netherlands. They seem to be, I don't know what it is. They don't seem to be the teams that they were a few years ago. And I think if you look at Spain, the way Madrid, Real, and Barcelona, like they used to dominate Europe, and now if you look at them,
No
they're
Real
just
Madrid
not
fans.
doing it anymore.
No Real Madrid
Absolutely,
fans.
they're just not the same anymore. The one group I know, like it wouldn't be, it's not a very exciting group, but like in terms of the teams there, Group B, Belgium, Finland, Russia, Denmark. But that group, I think, is like everything's to play for, especially like I know we haven't said it yet, but for the game day 2 or match day 2 even,
Yeah.
Russia beating Finland, like that really, like anyone could finish anywhere in that group. And then one game I am excited for is England Scotland, because Scotland have to throw everything at England, especially the fact that the Scottish hate the English as well. Like that game could be a very, very good game to watch. But yeah, no, apart from that, Ukraine as well. We mentioned, I think myself and Charlie predicted them to be the dark horses of it. I feel like Ukraine are in a good position. Like they'll have a lot of confidence after the Netherlands game, going 2-0 down, and I think they backed themselves against North Macedonia. If they do that, like I wouldn't put it past them to beat Austria as well.
For sure. Yeah. It's been a good tournament so far. Long may it continue. We'll see us all next week for match day 2, and a lot of things might change. But yeah, just enjoy the games. It's been very good to watch. Especially with seeing fans in the stadium, especially full capacity in Hungary. Don't ask me how they managed to do that. I've no idea. But it's very nice to see. But yeah, that's all we've time for. Thanks, lads, again. Hopefully Luke will be back next week. Just depends on work. You know, we're not unemployed. You know what I mean? We're not jobless. So we do have other commitments, so we will try to get on focus on again. And maybe some other lads as well might want to come on. So as the tournament goes on. But yeah, don't forget to share with your friends. Please subscribe if you're not watching. Just press the subscribe button. You don't even have to like put post notifications on, just subscribe. We want to get to 200 soon as possible. And yeah, thanks again, lads. Share with your mates, subscribe, like, do whatever you can to help grow it. Thanks very much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next week.